Hey, you fucks. Thanks for, checking out the videos, showing a little bit of support. How about you take it to the next level and show us some love over there on Patreon, huh? Huh? Huh?
Yo, 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 what the fuck is up there out there on the YouTube social? Give a Papa Tikyo coming live from the Japan land. How are you guys doing? I'm doing all right. It's a beautiful winter sunny morning right here, and you know me. I'm just straight up chilling, just hanging out, having a good time. And I woke up at 5 a.m. today because I couldn't get good sleep because they were doing construction outside of my goddamn house, and it wasn't even like fixing a road or anything. They were like building something or something. I don't know, but it kept me up all night, and so I didn't get any good sleep. It's so funny because in New York, you're expecting that, and because you expect that, like, you find ways to deal with it. I just got used to it, but, like, my dad would use earplugs or something, right? But the whole point is just, like, I hadn't heard loud shit outside my house in a while, so I'm like, but that being said, it's 9 a.m., and I'm cooking my lunch right now, just to eat later, just because I'm like, man, I want to make some, what do you call it? Like, I want to, what do you call it? Prep meal or something? I want to make a prep meal of this shit. So, yeah, right now I'm cooking some tacos, and I'm going to have to, like, pause this recording in, like, 10 minutes to go check on it. I love it. I love making tacos. Do you guys love making tacos? This rant is not about making tacos, but I always spiel for, like, the first 10 minutes anyway. It's the Swiss thing to do, like in that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio's and his 25-year-old girlfriend limits. But yeah, guys, today we're talking about Jojo, and it's funny because I had to go to my Tikyo Rants playlist, and I had to, like, scroll back for the last 3 or 4 years to be like, did I already talk about this? I felt like I already talked about this, but it's like, no, like, I didn't. Maybe I did want to talk about this at some point, but I didn't make a rant about it yet, or at least I didn't officially put one out, so I think I probably just ended up talking about it during, like, a live stream and then making a clip of it a while ago or something. But yeah, I mean, I'm going through the anime right now of season 6 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and it's very interesting. It's cool, like, wow, like they really animated the shit out of that fucking show. Now, guys, this will be a little spoilery. I'm not gonna try to spoil it though, like, too much. Like, I think that, like, I'm gonna try to make this so you can go all the way through this without getting, like, the whole. Well, nah. I think I don't know. Is the ending really spoiling it or not? Because well, anyway, like, I don't know. I'll say I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but the point is, I'll probably just avoid this. I'm too lazy. I'm doing 5 things at once right now. I hate multitasking. So, anyway, just avoid this if you don't want spoilers. I guess that's it. We decided. There we go. Voted Democratic Party. Premiere chat. Yeah, okay. Just skip it then. But for all of you guys who don't give a shit about spoilers and want to know about JoJo, let's go into it, because, like, I don't remember how I initially got into JoJo. Like, I had always known about JoJo ever since, like, middle school or high school when that Dreamcast game came out or whatever, and I found it at some game shop eventually, and I'm like, what is this? These people, like, they just stand around, and then, like, a ghost Pokemon that floats around them that looks like a human fights other people. Okay, cool, I guess. Like, do they do punching? And then it's like, well, no, it's not just punching. They're like X-Men, but with, like, extra steps. And I'm like, okay. God damn it. So it's like they're like X-Men, but they have, like, multiple powers, and, like, some of them are, like, psychedelic shit or whatever. So yeah, I'll try to get into explaining about, like, what JoJo is the best I can. And this is mostly about Stone Ocean, or at least the prefaces for this is that it's Stone Ocean I want to talk about. But anyway, we're at the 4-minute point here, so let me just spiel really quickly. Hey guys, I don't make any money off of these, so if you like these and you want me to keep them going, and you love coming here for your weekly sexual, hot-based Japan dad takes, then do me a favor, and if you got an extra buck to spare, go over to patreon.com/TKSam and throw some money at me, because, I don't make any money off the AdSense for these, because I use bad words, but yeah, thanks to supporters like you guys, I actually can, like, kind of pay for this stuff and whatever, and you're basically helping me pay for my hobby. So you can go over to patreon.com. We got like Japanese lessons, dude. You ever want to learn Japanese and like play video games in Japanese and watch anime in Japanese without English subtitles? Well, go over there. It's not snake oil shit. I actually have a program that I used that I'm just spieling my own version of, and it's like everything there. You're like, well, what should I watch? I got you covered. Well, what if I have questions? I got you covered. What if I'm gay? Well, then you go to Uganda. Why? Because why are you gay? But yeah, go over to patreon.com/TKSam. Links down below. And also, big shout out to everybody who becomes a member over here or drops a super chat or super thanks. You guys literally help fuel the channel with your hot sexual baseness. And speaking of which, big shout out to this guy, Boom. Yeah, look at how fucking sexy that dude is. God damn, that guy fucks. That guy fucks long, hard, and fierce. Oh my god, does that guy fuck. Anyway, yeah, hi guys. So, yeah, anyway, go over there. Thank you so much for the love and support, guys. And also, if you want your name at the end of the video, go over. You can sign up for the top, or like the mid-tier on the join button, or you can join the Patreon at any level and your name will get put at the end of these videos. You'll be forever immortalized in the media that you love. And yeah, I thank you guys and I respect your gangster. But anyway, yeah, question of the day is, have you read Jojo? Have you watched Jojo? Why or why not? And yeah, just like, what do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Because, you know, like, the great thing about these home rants is that I can just spiel. I can spiel like crazy. I love this, too. I love that I can just sit here and I can just talk about shit that I like, and there's, like, at least a couple hundred of you guys that are like, oh, yeah, I'll check that out. You know, that's cool. Like, it's so funny because, like, I look at my old rants where I talked about drama or some stupid bullshit, and it's like I would get views, but it's like... It's like cheap tabloidy Keemstar type views, and I didn't like that, you know. It's just like, like, fuck that. So, you know, at least now it's not as like flashy, gossipy in your face, but at the same time, I think the people that really do appreciate this, they stick around and they listen to it, and I don't mind losing the other, like, I mean, that's the thing too. It's like, do you want a big audience? And I'm like, well, I just like an audience that appreciates the stuff that I'm making, you know. Like, it doesn't need, if they only liked my stuff because I talked about drama on occasion or you know, shit like that, then it's just like they don't need to watch me. They can go and find somebody else. But the people that like just hearing about a hot dad's opinions about stuff, I mean, I think, you know, not to toot my own dick, but you know, that's one of the things I kind of have pride in, well, no, I do have pride in here in Japan, is that, like, I'm a dude who's been in Japan a long time, you know. I've almost been here 20 years, and, like, there's still so much shit I love about Japan. And you know, you'll get the occasional guy who's like, I fucking, like, you know, like, dude, I swear, I look up one video on why I left Japan just because I was trying to find this one YouTuber, and then just, like, the algorithm's like, okay, well, here you go. And there's, like, 50 plus videos on, like, yeah, why I left Japan. And most of the time it's just like, oh, my wife wanted to move. Or, oh, you know, the visa is up and I didn't really want to stay that long. It's nothing dramatic like, you know, I don't know. Like, I got deported for gay sex. My friend, to be fair, my friend's younger brother, he got deported for having sex in public because he was stupid and he was drunk. But, yeah, I mean, the whole point is that it's usually people that don't give a shit about Japan that usually leave anyway. And, but it always baffles me. You see dudes that they're, like, quote-unquote, stuck in Japan. They can't leave. And we've all encountered that kind of person if you've, like, worked in Japan for even a little bit here. And it always boggles my mind. It's like, what the fuck are you doing here, bro? Why are you still here? Like, it's like, well, I mean, I get it. Like, you know, they're pussies. They're too afraid to move on. They're too afraid to, like, you know, they have, like a comfortability. Like, they're comfortable in their shittiness. So they don't want to try to go out and branch out and do anything because they're cowards. And so they just go on Reddit and get drunk and drink, like, Strong Zero or whatever, and then, like, talk shit, you know? It's like, instead of improving your life, don't choose drugs. Choose life, you know? Big Bay was right. Here, wait, I gotta pause this for a second. I gotta check out the tacos. Okay, guys, taco update. Recording started again, taco update. The tacos are doing good. I'm making some primo taco mix with the right spices and meat and veggies, and guys, it's so good. And I went to the Gyomu Super, and they didn't have tortillas, so I'm using a thing called flatbread. I don't know what country it's from, but it's basically like greasy bread that you have to cook yourself. It's not like a tortilla where it's cooked and you just gotta warm it up. These are like straight up like dough that you have to like take out of a like plastic sheets and then cook individually, and I'm probably cooking them wrong, but yeah, they're greasy. They're kind of like just think of a chalupa, like the kind of tortilla they use for a chalupa. It's basically the same thing. But yeah, I have to cook those too, and it's annoying. But the cool thing is that once you cook them, you can put them in the fridge, and then like all you gotta do is just reheat them like you would with tortillas, and it's all good. But anyway, yeah, I've got that stuff is on low heat right now, so I'm just gonna let it cook for like the next 30 minutes to an hour. You know, it's got the fan on, so like the heat can't like just stay. Like if you don't turn on the fan, not only does it get smoky, but also like it lets the frying pan or the pot or whatever you're cooking in get like extra hot. So if you got some air constantly sucking up the excess heat, it's easier for cooking, especially if you're cooking like vegetables. That all vegetables for the most part have water content in them. So the longer you cook it, the smaller they shrink to. And it makes it more of like a blend of meat versus just like meat with like chunky, still together veggies. Anyway, you guys didn't come here to talk about my meat stuff. Oh yeah, shout out to Bengoshi Thomas in the chat. He left a comment being like, I would love to see cooking videos from you. And yeah, you know, I would love to cook too. I don't know. It's like, I think that if I cook at another person's apartment, I wouldn't mind. But it's just like, you know, I want to save the house tour. Like if I film in the kitchen, it's pretty much giving a house tour of the place, and so I want to save the house tour for like before I move on to my super mega mansion condo or something, you know. But for the meantime, yeah, like if I go over to a friend's house or something, and I got the GoPro, I will show you guys how I cook, and you guys can copy my cookiness, and it's good. And it is, ma'am. But anyway, yeah, guys. But you don't want to hear about my taco-ness. You want to hear about rambling bullshit and Jojo as well. But I just want to say a couple things before I start the Jojo thing. So, yeah, that shit last night kept me up. Fucking shit-ass construction. Today's a Thursday while I'm recording this, and I just got done uploading a shit ton of footage to YouTube as behind-the-scenes footage for Patreon, and I'm so happy with that because I can actually use that, but also it's, what do you call it, like I get to clear up my hard drive with it too, to make space for extra new YouTube stuff, and that's cool, and so, yeah, it's pretty badass. I'm pretty happy with that, and so, like, you know, I've got this kind of, like, template format down, for the kind of, the working title compilation vlogs. And, you know, I've got all the it's basically a collection of my clips and a collection of other clips I found on the internet. Most of them are Japan related, but I'm just slowly getting to the end of organizing those. And I've already made a backlog of rants, making a backlog of reacts, and now finally the Sunday videos will be backlogged as well. Because, you know, I think the thing is that people do enjoy the videos, but they don't enjoy them enough to participate, if that makes sense. So, like, the only people that really care about the channel right now are the ones that participate in the YouTube live stream, you know, like they donate, they participate in the chat, you know, like they're the ones that care. Everyone else is just very passive on the channel, and that's fine. But and it's like, well, why don't you just make different content then if you want that? And I'm like, no. I think more than having people participate in the videos, I just want to make the videos that I want to make, and it's all like rolling a ball uphill, you know? Some people do it like, you know, there's different ways to roll a ball uphill. Some ways are proven to be better than others, and some ways are just like, look, I'm not caring about pushing the ball all the way up the hill. I just want to have fun pushing the ball up the hill, you know, if that makes sense. So, you know, for the meantime, it's like giving me peace of mind to make this backlog of stuff so I can be like, you know what, I'm going to try something, and I have a free schedule for the whole month. So I'm going to make a video. I'm going to make like a music video this month, and I'm going to get somebody to like fucking buy all, like make all the costumes. I'm gonna rent out a place or something and get a bunch of different cameramen and just make like a shitty Tim and Eric music video, but like slightly high production shit. Like I want to have the freedom to be able to do that. And it's like, oh man, well that's gonna take at least like a week and a half to 2 weeks to set up and find a place. And it's like, yeah, good, fine, let's do it. You know, all my other shit's already uploaded. Like I just gotta participate in the live stream. So yeah, that's the plan for that at the moment. And goddamn, it is windy as shit today. Like today, what is it? It's like the ocean was angry that day. Yeah, it's so funny because I can again like it's so funny because like Mount Fuji. I always have a live stream of Mount Fuji playing in the background, and Mount Fuji is like 2 hours away by car from Tokyo, but the weather is relatively the same in Mount Fuji as it is in like Tokyo. Like right now, Tokyo's blue skies, very windy. Right now in Mount Fuji, blue skies, very windy, and I can tell it's windy because of the waves. The waves, like it's one of those things where you don't need to be a marine biology. You don't need to be a pizza bagel. You don't need to be a marine biologist to see like, oh, the waves are like a lot more aggressive today. They're a lot more angry. Yeah, like that's one thing that's like big ups to Swimmer Nick for moving to the ocean side, man. I mean, that must be nice looking out of the ocean every day and just seeing those waves and the crystal blue. But I prefer this view right now, just looking at Mount Fuji and the sky and the ocean. It's so pure, like the Kokaianum. But yeah, anyway, I'm just saying it's nice. It's nice to have all these things and it's nice to have like a plan, you know? You have a project and you follow it through, and it's like, you know, my life is simple. I just want to, you know, pay the bills, doing jobs that I like, that are fun for me, and pay me well. And then I have free time to either do more jobs or to study or like work on my hobbies, and that's what I'm doing right now. It's nice. Hold on, let me sippy sip. Yeah, today I got orange juice. I already finished my coffee earlier. Coffee, why? The gummies, Tico, the gummies. Oh man, them tacos smell nice. But anyway, yeah, it's just like, you know, it's been a good week. You know, it's been good. Took like a nice, clean, cleansing shower yesterday. You got to use the horse brush, you know. I got this brush that has like horsehair on it or something, and I specifically bought it because it was the one with the roughest like thistles or whatever you call it, like the brush hair. And it's just nice. Like you dip it in water, you know, and then you get your body all soaked, and then you just scrub, and it just gets all this dead skin off, and it's just so good. It's in my raccoon wounds. It's in my raccoon wounds. But yeah, anyway, yeah, and so the only thing I really need to do today is I gotta do the Jojo stuff. I gotta record this, and then I gotta start importing all that stuff into the compilation vlogs, and yeah, prepare a vlog for tomorrow. And I need to go to the post office because I started doing a pen pal thing with my buddy back home, so his kids can send letters to my students in Japan, and maybe do that like once a month or whatever. And it's cool, like, you know, it's something to interact with, and then hopefully they can keep doing it after they've like graduated from my class or whatever. So that's fun. I tried doing that before, but the kids were like very half-assed into it. This time the parents are super into it, so it's good. But anyway, yeah, Jojo, let's get into the topic, shall we? Yeah, get into that topic, baby. Hot sex with the females. Yeah, but anyway, let's get into the Jojo talk, shall we? For all of you guys who don't know Jojo, I'm guessing if you're watching my channel, you've watched anime at some point in your life. So you know, even if you haven't watched them, you know the names. Like, you know Dragon Ball Z, you maybe know One Piece, but it's like, what is the difference between, let's say, like Batman, the animated series WB, versus like Dragon Ball Z or One Piece or something? Well, it's like, okay, well, let's just look at like the overall picture of cartoons in America when I was growing up, right? It's like you had cartoons that were what do you call it, like an anthology, where like not anthology, but it's like serialized or something, whatever they say, right? Like it's a different story every episode. Like they're not really building up to like an overall big story, you know? It's kind of like Full House type shit, but with cartoons. So you had like Ed, Edd and Eddy, Johnny Bravo, Samurai Jack, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers. That's not a cartoon, but it's like most of the cartoons were like very cheap budget, and they didn't have an overall story, and they weren't really serious a lot of the time. I mean, sometimes they were, but a lot of the time they weren't. And it's like, well, what about Superman and Batman? It's like, well, those were the kind of special because they were like given extra care for the editing, and also it's like a superhero thing, so it's a little bit different because shonen comics, shonen stories are about people like becoming like something, some kind of special power. Like in America, it's very black and white, very straightforward. Like you know, like a Marvel universe or something, superheroes. It's like, oh well, you're born like this, or you become it, like the Hulk or something, right? Like but then when you are like, you just have one big power. You know, it's like Iron Man has a suit that he made that is like super powered by like a little nuclear reactor in his heart or something, and he can do like tech stuff. Hulk just gets giant and he smashes shit. You know, Wolverine has a healing factor, and they injected liquid metal into him to make him like a indestructible Terminator, you know? And so it's like everybody has their own like kind of special power, but for shows like, for example, Dragon Ball Z, it's about people who train like in martial arts, and then they learn about how to harness their inner energy that's in all their cells called ki, and then they use that like they learn how to control that so they can do things like fly and like shoot energy from their body, because they've trained so much and they meditated so much that they can accumulate a lot more energy than other people, and that makes them stronger, that makes them like, you know, punch stronger, kick stronger, and that makes them faster, and like, yeah, then of course they can fly and shoot energy beams and shit from their hands. So it's like, but all of those dudes, for the most part, they had to train for that. They weren't just like switched to, oh, you ate a magic bean and now you can fucking shoot shit kind of stuff. It's not like that. But like One Piece too, One Piece is kind of different because everyone's born normal for the most part. But they're in this world where it's like it's all water, and everyone's just disconnected from like fucking islands around the world. And then, but in that world, they have a magical fruit that comes from somewhere, and if you eat that fruit, it gives you a superpower. But everyone has the same weakness, which means like they can't swim. So in a world of pirates, you could have this super OP skill, but then you can get killed by a puddle, kind of thing. Which, by the way, that movie, with that third movie to the uncontrollable, untouchable, or whatever it was, that, you know, the one of Mr. Glass, that movie sucked ass. I can't believe they killed Bruce Willis by choking him in a puddle. That's so fucking just ugh. Yeah, don't let that guy touch movies. You know, don't keep that guy away from movies. But anyway, I mean, like, it's a little bit more complicated, right, when it comes to shonen manga, and but it's cool though because it opens you up to, like, it's not just like the X-Men, where it's like X-Men are dudes with superpowers in the real world. It's like always shonen manga. And shonen, by the way, means just like teenage dude, like a teenage boy kind of thing. So, like, you know, sometimes the like, what is it? Like, the animes take place in the real world, and sometimes they don't. Like, sometimes it's a completely different world, like, or it's like a similar world to the world we're in. Like, Dragon Ball Z does not take place in the real world. It takes place in like a similar Earth, but it's not the same Earth. They don't use any of the geography that's in real Earth. You know, like the lands, they have like dinosaurs that are still alive and shit then, so it's like a different dimension, but, you know, no one ever calls it out because it's the world of that. And the same thing with like One Piece. One Piece is this giant fucking water world minus Kevin Costner and like super violent dark shit. But I mean, there's still dark shit, but it's not as bad as Waterworld, kind of, you know what I get, right? But It's like Bleach too. Like Bleach is a famous one, and or wait, before I get into Bleach, it's like Naruto, right? Naruto takes place in a different dimension or whatever that's not Earth, and like but that place is like a whole continent of Asia, and all of these places have their own ninja towns. Like there's regular towns, but then there's ninja towns, and they all like raise people there to learn the traditions, the ninja arts of that area, right, of that town, and the families that are in that town. And so it's a completely different world, but they still eat ramen, there's still TV, there's still video games, shit like that, right? But then you've got other ones that take place in the real world, like Bleach. You know, Bleach is about a kid who he gets attacked by some fucking like invisible creature one day, and it turns out that's like a evil spirit from the death world, and the people that police the death world are death gods. Like literally, instead of one Grim Reaper, there's like thousands of them, and they all have superpowers and shit. And he, in order to save a death god, he becomes a death god. Apparently, they can give their powers to humans, and so he becomes a death god. And then that becomes a whole problem because he's the first ever death god that was like made that way and stuff. And that anime takes place half in the real world, half in the death god world, you know. But then you've got other anime that are just full on the real world, but just with wonky, crazy shit. And oh wait! Before I go on with that, it's like you've got other animes too, like Hokuto no Ken, Fist of the North Star, where it's like a bunch of buff dudes in the apocalypse, like a nuclear apocalypse, and they're all buff, and there's like no vegetables, but somehow people are still eating and shit, and like it's just this strong dude going around, and everyone's being crazy and being super manly or whatever, and they're fighting each other, but it's kind of over the top, right? But then you've got regular animes that take place in the real world, like Ranma. Ranma is about like martial artists that if they fall into like a certain hot spring in a Chinese town, they'll get superpowers or whatever. And but it's luck of the dice, kind of like in One Piece. You don't know what you're gonna get, and yeah. Anyway, but it takes place in the real world, right? And like you know, Pokemon and Digimon, that's the thing that was different from those, is that like Pokemon takes place entirely in the Pokemon world, where there's no New York there or whatever. But in Digimon takes place in the digital world, quote unquote, inside the computers. But then when they go out, they're in the real world. They're still in Japan, you know. And so JoJo's kind of like that. JoJo. But it's like, okay, so whatever. You're saying that like all these things, they kind of have superpowers, and then it's either in a different world or it's in the real world. So where does JoJo, the whole series of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where does that land? And JoJo's is really simple. JoJo is basically, it's a story that is special because it's told over the generations of one bloodline. And I don't know any other anime that's done that up until now, like you know, just as good as this. And so there's 6 seasons of the anime, and there's like an anime spin-off that's like 4 episodes, but that's on a side character. That's not even a main character thing. And they made a live action movie, I think, once, and it's alright. It's not too bad. But yeah, and then there's a season 7 in the manga, and there's a season 8 in the manga, and they're all equally good. But yeah, let's talk about let's go through the seasons of them, and let me break down the explanations of this shit. So like I said, you know, JoJo is based off of like generational storytelling. So, and it's basically about one guy's family versus one other dude, his rival. And so every season of JoJo has either the son or the grandson or like a cousin, like somebody is related to the first main character, and there's fucked up shit happening around them due to the first main bad guy doing some shit. And it's cool though, because like it's kind of like reminds me of Power Rangers, right? How every season of Power Rangers, well, I don't know about the seasons, I don't know, like, you guys gotta correct me on this, but it's like every Power Rangers series would end and sometimes the Power Ranger from the previous series would move over to the next one. Not everybody, but like maybe one guy would move over, like the Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger, like he moved over. I mean, to be honest, I stopped watching Power Rangers after the first season, but I've seen clips where he's at least in like 2 other outfits, right? And so, but at the same time, it's like Power Rangers is always the same shit. Like there's a new bad guy, they go kill the bad guy using the cool toys, and then like you can buy the toys later and stuff. And you know, I that's one thing I'd like to do. Maybe do like a movie day where we just go through all the Power Rangers episodes. That'd be fun. Like we should just binge a series. Like we're already gonna do an Adult Swim movie day. Not even a movie night. We're gonna just like watch Adult Swim TV shows like all day, and maybe we could do that with Power Rangers or something. Just have like, well, like that will be like a reward to you guys when we hit the donation goal, and also when I've finished like all of my YouTube work for that week. You know, that'll be fun. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to avoid like Japan copyrighted shit, because even though I don't think they'd give a fuck, I just don't want to. I don't want to like mess with that. You know. But yeah, like so JoJo's cool though, because it's not always the case, but sometimes they have it. So like the first season of JoJo tells the initial story. And what's the initial story? It's there's this guy and his wife or something, and she's all pregnant or dead. I can't remember exactly what happens, but this dude and his wife and their kid or whatever, they're in a horse carriage, it falls down, and this old guy and his wife like see that the carriage is like broken down, and they're gonna go steal from, because I think that everyone in the horse carriage died, but it's like the guy's like, oh, I'm alive and I'm rich, and like I'm gonna pay you back so much. You're gonna be like my sworn brother, and I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna take care of your family. And anyway, it's like 18 years later, and the rich guy has a son. He names Jonathan, and then the old guy who's bad guy, the old thief, has a son named Dio. And the old guy's like, well, your mom died, or she ran off or something. I can't remember exactly. And he's like, well, I'm old now and I can't do shit, so you go and live with this guy. This guy owes me a favor, and so you go live with him, and you get an education or whatever. You become, you know, a man of great expectations kind of thing. And like, get back at them for me, because I forgot why. It's like he's just angry that they have money or something. I forgot why exactly Dio hates the Joestar family. But anyway, so Dio gets raised with Jonathan, and they're pretending to be friends, but like Jonathan doesn't hate him, but Dio hates him a lot, and he doesn't know why. And Dio just does fucked up shit, like he doesn't rape, but he tries to like fuck with Jojo's girlfriend, or Jonathan's girlfriend, and then and he also kills Jonathan's dog after he beats the dog. And yeah, it's just like Dio's like inherently just a really bad person. And anyway, yeah, and so this is like another thing I should mention, is that every new so every like character is named, they have a Joe, or they have like a J-O in their name as like the main character, or it's like a Joe sounding name. So but their nickname is always Jojo. So every new season, even if it's a new character, their nickname is Jojo. So like in this one, it's Jonathan, and he's Jojo. So but anyway, yeah, well, long story short, Dio like does something. I think he kills Jonathan's dad, but he can't. He's like a fugitive, and he finds this mask, and this mask is like, I'll grant you power or some shit. And he's like, cool. And he puts on this mask, and it basically makes him a vampire, but not like a Dracula vampire. I mean, like the sunlight can still kill him, and he's still immortal, and he can suck blood and make other people vampires, but it also makes him like super strong. And it's like, they don't really lean into the whole vampire thing like Dracula. It's just like, he's a really strong guy with all these powers, and he happens to be a vampire. And then Jonathan, in order to get revenge on Dio, he randomly runs into this guy who's like a magician or something, and he's like, look, I know how to like use your energy to like get stronger by breathing. And he's like, what? And he's basically like, I have yoga powers. I'm gonna teach you how to like stretch your muscles and breathe hard, and then you can like, you know, have special yoga power. They call that hamon. And it's like, okay, cool. And so he, like, Jonathan uses that to fight Dio, and he kicks Dio's ass and he fucks him up, and so he kills Dio. At least he thinks he does. And then he's on a boat to America with his girlfriend or whatever, and I guess she's already pregnant or something. And so Dio attacks the boat again. I don't know. I forgot how he becomes alive. But anyway, Jonathan fucks him up and he kills him, and he cuts off Dio's head, and he's like, look, you mortally wounded me. I guess I'm going down with the ship with you. We're going to die together like bros. And Dio's like, you're such a fucking bitch ass. And anyway, and this is the thing, though. Every Joestar also, like every JoJo, they have a star on their back. And the star is to represent that they're part of the JoJo clan. So, like, it's a birthmark. Everyone has that always on their top left shoulder. And so, anyway, Jonathan and Dio die, but then Jonathan's wife, I forgot what happened. Like, his wife or whatever goes to America. She has a kid, and then that kid has, like, her son has a son. I can't remember exactly who Joseph is, but anyway, season 2 starts out that the new JoJo is Joseph Joestar, and he's a badass motherfucker. It's like the first season is really slow, and it takes a while to get into it, and everything's always over the top. Like, they take everything that is always like over the top in like anime, and they fold it tenfold because they're just making fun of it, and they're always like over dramatizing shit, but that makes it part of the fun, right? And also, I should say that JoJo barely has any women in it. It's like, it's a very bro anime. Like, there's no love interests. I mean, there are sometimes, but it's for side characters usually most of the time, and it's not really like that much of a thing, right? And so season 2 is Joseph is, I forgot what he is. Is he a treasure hunter or something? I don't remember. But the whole point is, the first one took place in like the early 1900s, I think. And the second season takes place during World War II. I think World War II, yeah. And Joseph Joestar is this guy who's just, he's doing something. I forgot why. He goes and like fights the guys who basically, I think they're the ones who came up with Hamon or something. I don't remember the plot of this. Like, you know, I just remember like the shit that happens there. And so in season 2, there's no Dio because Dio's dead. But Jonathan is like, or Joseph, the second JoJo, he's all fight, like he makes friends, he's in Europe, and he's like fighting Nazis and shit. He even becomes friends with this one cyborg Nazi, it's weird. But like, yeah, his enemy in that one are the guys who created Hamon, or they're somehow related to Hamon, and they're like these gay Egyptian dudes who wear like thongs and stuff, and it's just weird. I forgot why he has to fight them. It's been a while since I watched that, but yeah, anyway, during that one, he has a friend named Caesar who also knows Hamon and stuff, and they get stronger by being rivals, and then Caesar dies, but it's like really dramatic and cool. And anyway, Joseph kicks all their asses, and then this one chick's like, I think you're really hot, and we should get together. And Joseph's like, yeah, okay, cool. Let's do it, babe. Sweet. And that's the end of season 2. Like, and that's the end of the Hamon era of JoJo. And so it's like, you know, like a fucking, like a power is shitty when you don't even remember how they really did it, like how it worked. So, but at the same time, whatever. It's like, JoJo's one of those things where it's like, it's so fun and it's so ridiculous that like you don't even give a shit if you understand most of the plot. And I think that goes to show like how good an anime is, if it could do that to you, right? But JoJo season 3 is when shit really starts to get crazy, because they get rid of the Hamon thing and they introduce this thing called stands. And stands are basically like the X-Men superpower equivalent of the JoJo universe. And so people with stands, they have powers that it's just random shit. Like they're super strong, and you know, like it's basically they have a ghost Pokemon that follows them around all the time. But the ghost Pokemon are like human. They're all humanoid, but they all have like, and they all have weird names. Like, that's another trope in the JoJo universe, is that everybody's named after some music guy. Like, Dio Brando, you know, Dio Brando. Dio's named after the fucking musician Dio. Jonathan Joestar. I don't know who that's based off of, but it's like every season there's always good guys and bad guys, and they have a music related name, or their stands have a music related name. Like I was watching Jojo season 6, and the like, what is it, like Stone Ocean? I don't know. That's somebody's song, but also like you've got like a stand called Foo Fighters. You've got like a stand called White Snake. And sometimes, like, these guys have, like, each season, I think, for the most part, has a theme to the character names. Like, season 6, people are named after, like, brand names. Like, Hermes and, Pucci. I don't know what Pucci is, but, like, Emporio. Like, those are, like, brand, like, girls, like, high-fashion brand names, right? So, it's fun how like each season kind of has this stupid predictability to it of like how ridiculous it is, but there's some continuity. And so in season 3, it's interesting because that's when the generational thing starts becoming more prevalent, because you get to meet and it also becomes more strong because you get to meet Jotaro. And Jotaro is the third Jojo, and he is Joseph's grandson. And the thing that's special about him is that Joseph's daughter married a Japanese guy, so now finally the Jojo universe has come to Japan. And not only is his grandson half Japanese, like, I don't know, I always felt like Japanese people have a little bit of a complex of, like, they wish they were half, not like any other race, but just, like, specifically half white European. I don't know, there's some, like, there's too much shit like that on TV since I've been there, where they really boost these people up to, like, oh my god, you're so cool, you have both, you have us and them, that's the coolest. And, I mean, honestly, I don't really give a shit, but that's the kind of feeling, that's the kind of, like, vibe I got from that. But anyway, Jotaro's a badass. He's, like, this super fucking just bulky guy. And, the first, like, season 3 starts off with him, and he punched his way through a police station, and he locks himself in a prison because he doesn't understand why he has this ghost human Pokemon floating around him, and he can't talk to it. It's not sentient. So he's just like, what the fuck? Like, why am I, like, if somebody tries to fight me, like, why did they get knocked out by something in the air or whatever? And that's when Joseph comes there, and he's like, look, I know I haven't been there in your life. And Joseph's all pissed off because his daughter basically ran away with a Japanese guy, and she moved to Japan. And he's like, what the fuck? And there's like a funny meme of Joseph being like, I'll never forgive the Japanese. And anyway, he's like, look, you have a stand. And what is a stand? It's like people are born with these powers, and or they're given these powers, but they're some people are born with these powers, some people are given these powers. But anyway, there's some fucked up shit happening around the world, and I think that's what caused all these people to start having stands, because he's like, I used to have Hamon, and I can still use Hamon, but like I have a stand too now. And it's like, so what's your power? What's your stand power? Well, Jotaro's stand is just simple. It's just like it makes him stronger, and it can help him fight. Like, there's no real superpower to it yet. But like Joseph's stand is like, from what I recall, it can show you hints of the future. It won't show you the whole future, but what he does is he gets a camera and then punches it, and then it'll print, like a Polaroid camera specifically, and then it will print out a picture of like a hint of what they need to do next. And yeah, it's just, it seems like each stand has, like, a physical attribute, and it has, like, kind of, like, a helpful hint, kind of, like, metaphysical attribute kind of thing, right? And so, but anyway, the whole point is, like, Joseph's like, I think Dio's back or something, because some shit's fucked up, and I think it's happening in, like, the Middle East or Europe or something, but we need to find clues. And so they go... this is season 3, and it's like it's like the bro trip, they all go, like Joseph and his buddy Abdul, I think that's his name, and Jotaro, they go out on a journey to like find Dio, because they think he's fucking up shit. And so along the way, of course, they make friends, and even though they go through Europe and Asia, I think it's mostly taking place in the Middle East and Africa. So, like, it's cool. Like, first season, mostly like one part of Europe. Second season, all different parts of Europe and America. Third season, mostly like Asia, mostly like Middle East and Africa, but also some Asian parts too. And yeah, and anyway, at the end of they go on the whole journey, and at the end they do find out that Dio did come back, and not only did he come back, he's been back for a while, and he stole Jonathan's body. So like he cut off Jonathan's head somehow. I don't know. I just remember they explained it really shittily, and he's like, so now he has Hamon and he has like his vampire powers or whatever, and so. And he has a stand, and his stand is that like he can stop time, and also he can just fight like crazy. Like it makes him strong. Anyway, long story short, Jotaro kicks his ass, and he somehow evolves his stand, and his stand gets the same power that Dio has too. And Jotaro's able to kick his ass, and it's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's season 3, and it's fucking awesome, and it is mayhem. And then season 4 happens. And season 4 is what I think is probably my favorite season, because it takes place entirely in Japan, and it flips the whole being born of a stand narrative by in season 4. So it's different because everybody up until now has been a grandson, right? You got Jonathan, Joseph, and Jotaro. This time it takes place in Japan. Now, Jotaro he's half Japanese. He grew up in Japan. He's already in Japan, you know? But so why is it going back to Japan? And it's because this time it's taking place entirely in Japan. And so who's the new Jojo then? Who's the new guy? And that's Josuke. And it's like, who the fuck is Josuke? Well, when you meet Jotaro for the first time, Jotaro is he's a Japanese high school student, right? And now I think it's like 10 years later, maybe 20 years later or something. And now Jotaro is like, he's a big boy. I think he's like a marine biologist or something. He's like a professor somewhere, but he still wears cosplay clothes, and he's still jacked and stuff. Well, actually, he's a little bit nerfed in this one. He's weaker because he's like Gohan. He didn't train or whatever, so he hasn't been keeping his skills up. But anyway, he meets Josuke, and it's like, who is Josuke? What the fuck? And so it turns out that Joseph, when after like season 3 or whatever, he was like going around and doing like university lectures or something, and he ended up doing a university lecture in Japan, and he slept with one of the college students that was checking out his class. And she got pregnant, but she never told him any of this because he was only there temporarily. And so he goes back to Europe or whatever, and then I think at some point he finds out that he had a kid with this chick, and he's like, what the fuck? And so and it always baffles my mind how it's like, how did you not know you didn't have a kid? Like, all of my friends who have kids, they didn't pull out and then all of a sudden the chick got pregnant, or like they didn't use condoms and she got pregnant. It's like, you gotta just spray inside, dude. If you pull a troop in, you will have a kid. And if you don't have a kid, that's the weirder part of that. But anyway, yeah, this guy, he fucks this chick once, she gets pregnant. He finds out about Josuke eventually. But anyway, Josuke has gone his whole life and he doesn't know who his father is. But so you have Jotaro, who is half Japanese, and he's the grandson of Joseph. And so you have Josuke now, who's also half Japanese, but his dad is American, and he's technically, even though he's younger, he is Jotaro's uncle. And anyway, and like he's pissed off, he didn't know his dad at all, and like his mom's always been kind of cryptic about that shit, and he's all angry. He's like an angry, angsty teen, and Jotaro comes, and like Jotaro meets him and he explains all this shit, and then Josuke meets Joseph, and Joseph's become like a weak, senile old man. Like he's the exact opposite of like any Joseph we've met up until now. And it's really sad because it kind of like ruins it. He's like an 80-year-old guy and he's got a 20-year-old son, and it's just like But the whole thing takes place in Japan. And I forgot why they like Jotaro specifically comes there, but there is a main bad guy, in season 4, and he's a serial killer who's a stand user. And like up until now, during the anime, we always kind of assumed that there were bad people out there doing bad boy stuff with their stand power, but we never actually saw the full extent of that, at least from what I can recall in season 3. Like, there were people that were bad, but we didn't see like how many fucking bodies they killed or something. But meanwhile, this guy Kira, he's been like a serial killer his whole life, and he's like had stand powers since whenever, right? And so he just uses it, like his stand power is that he can create bombs out of people, and they can be strong bombs, they can be weak bombs, and he can basically just disintegrate people. And so he becomes the main bad guy in that, and it's really cool. Like the color palette for season 4, like it's so bright. It's always like green, purple, or pink or something. It's all out of the place. And again, like this place takes place in, or this story takes place in Morioka, which I think was supposed to be, or wait, no, takes place in Moriocho, which I think is supposed to be Morioka, which is in like Sendai, northern Japan. And like you can hear, because like every start of that, like every episode starts with like Mori 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 Moriocho radio, we love Morio Ocho. And anyway, it's cool because it gives like the whole, it takes the trope of slice of life shit in Japan animes, and then they add the JoJo factor to it, which is like there's evil and we gotta find out why. But in season 4, it's really cool because you find out that like people aren't just born with stands. There's actually like an ancient arrow for some reason. Like there's an arrow that had a special stone or something on it, and when you stab people with it, they either die or they survive and they get a JoJo power. And I don't know, it's so funny because like you go from like season 2, like season 1 is just like fighting a bad guy. Season 2 and season 3 are about literally saving the world, and then season 4 is like, okay, we're gonna kill the bad guy in this one small part of Japan. So it goes from like big grand scale back to small scale, and I don't know, there's something about that I really like and I really enjoy. But anyway, it's just so that at the end of the thing, I think like Josuke ends up killing the bad guy, and then yay, it's all there. You go, hunky dory. And then so that's season 4. And then season 5 is like, it's special because it takes place in Italy. And it's like, whoa, so this is the first time they're doing the same thing they did with season 4. They're going to make it in one place only. But this time, it's not a grandson or anybody directly kind of associated with the Joestar family. The main character is Giorno. And Giorno is a young guy who's half Japanese, half white. Same thing as Josuke and Jotaro. But he grew up in Italy, and he's actually Dio's son. And it's like, wait a second, so how is that? But the whole theme each time is that the main character is part of the Joestar bloodline. Well, since Dio he had Jonathan's body from season 3, he went around the world and impregnated chicks or something, and so he has what is it? So he's got this guy, he's got Giorno, and he is, since the Dio fucked with Jonathan's body, he's technically part of Dio, part of the Joestars now, but he doesn't know any of that. And this is the one, like, that's like a big reason why I didn't like this season. The season 5 is because in season 3 and season 4 you get to meet the previous JoJos. So like in season 3 Jotaro meets Joseph, in season 4 Josuke meets Joseph and Jotaro, but in season 5 you only get to meet god damn it, I forgot his name, the character who always wears green with the white hair. Like, he goes to Italy, and he's the only one that meets up with Giorno. And Giorno is this guy who he wants to become the top mafia king in Italy, because like the politicians, the cops, the businesses, they're all run by the mafia. It's just nobody fucking talks about it. And so he wants to become the mafia king of Italy so he can bring peace or whatever bullshit. And so the whole anime is basically him trying to find that main boss and then kick his ass. And it's cool because it takes place in Italy, and the characters are really cool. It's really awesome that it's another, unlike, in season 4, they're all in the same town. They're all in the same town. It's always the same shit. But in season 5, they're going all around Italy. It's like another bro trip, like season 4 or season 3. And you meet all these interesting characters. And every JoJo series, every season, it's always the good guys with the stand power versus the bad guys with the stand power. And so it's always like the good team versus the bad team. And they all have like weird fucking skills. Like I remember in JoJo season 5 or something, there's like a character that can turn the ground watery or something. Like he turns it into like sludge or like quicksand. And then there's another guy that he teams up with that like makes like if you climb upstairs you die from poison or some shit. Like the powers were always stupid convoluted and stuff, but it was fun, right? And but yeah, that was like, season 5, at the end of it, Giorno like unlocks his superpower. And apparently the mafia guy too, he had the arrowhead, and he was stabbing all of his boys with it so they would get the powers too. And he's been doing that all over Italy or whatever. And yeah, long story, like the ending is very cool for season 5, because just like every ending, the good guy kills the bad guy, but the way that the good guy kills the bad guy is very interesting. It's very unique. I really liked it, especially, well, not just that, but how they reveal the bad guy at the end is so cool. And I won't spoil it for you guys, but like the way they reveal the bad guy is awesome. And they do it twice in it, but the second time they do it, it's so fucking cool. And I don't know, I'll save that for like a live stream or something later. But anyway, that's season 5. And yeah, anyway, it's cool. Like I know I gave it very briefly a discussion about everything, and I know there's a lot of stuff I missed. So if there's anything that you guys are like, oh Dad, you forgot to say this, or forgot to say this, or I really liked this, I didn't like that, now's your time to shine, sons. Let me know your notes in the comments down below. And yeah, I think I smell that flatbread burning a little bit, so let me go over and flip that shit. But anyway, yeah guys, that was it for the rant today. Tell me, what do you guys think about JoJo? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to smash the like button, hit the subscribe bell, get notified when another, all the spiel shit, blah, 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 give me money, etc. Anyway, point is, I'll see you guys during the live stream. This one's a little short today, and I will talk to you guys later. Deuces.